Alright, so this is a quick non-spoiler review for the opening episode of Discovery Season 2 titled Brother. From the opening narration to the initial contact with these mysterious red bursts, Season 2 of Star Trek Discovery puts forward its intention to return to the core themes of Star Trek in a familiar way: exploration, mystery, and, well, discovery. The overall look of the show is brighter than Season 1 in no small part to the presence of the TOS-inspired uniforms, as well as lighter humour throughout. The literal increase of brightness also lends to this. Michael Burnham is still the centre of the show and still has those traits that make it hard to like her, but at least she seems genuinely excited about a few things now. Her character has changed from its initial appearance, which we can see when she meets the stand-in science officer from the Enterprise. This science officer is confrontational, becomes competitive with his fellow scientists, becomes insubordinate, and justifies his actions by citing his numerous achievements and intellect. Sound familiar, Burnham? It's no surprise then that, like Season 1 Burnham, he's caught out. Speaking of the Enterprise, it's not on screen much, and the only interior we see is Spock's quarters. This is probably a good thing, as a tour of a redesigned ship would feel forced, and let's be honest, no matter which direction they approach the design, it wouldn't measure up for every fan. Also, what business would the crew of the Discovery have trouncing around someone else's ship? As for lore concerns, Discovery makes sure to point out that it's trying to bring itself in line with established continuity, in a fashion, but it's most definitely a visual overhaul of Star Trek. It still seems to be including technologies that seem a far cry from the original series, such as collapsible tech, but then again, Discovery is meant as a purely R&D science vessel, the Constitution was not. But after the spore drive, I guess anything goes. Plus, the compact spacesuit malfunctions, so perhaps that's why it gets dropped. Also, the high-gravity navigational pods were weird, but at least they were meant for a specific purpose. The colourful uniforms are mentioned in passing as new, as well as the fact that we never saw the Enterprise in the Klingon War, as Starfleet felt that they needed to maintain its 5-year mission. And there are lines from Pike alluding to him being from the Mojave and saying "hit it" when ordering warp, tying in both Greenwood's Kelvin universe portrayal and Hunter's backstory. There are subtle nods and references to the original series throughout, but not shoved out in front and centre, which would have felt like pandering to me. But I've got to go back and get a detailed look at Pike's personnel file. You're baiting me, CBS, I know you are. Pike himself is immediately introduced as a likeable character, making direct statements to the Discovery crew, and to us, that he's not Gabriel Lorca, cracking jokes, but nonetheless he does put his foot down in a crisis. It seems the crew of the Discovery have a reputation too, as he assumes that they wouldn't prioritise the lives of other officers, like their former captain. He initiates a roll call and manages to remember the bridge crew's names after hearing them only once, which makes him a better man than me. Good, Discovery needed a captain to look up to. We don't see a peep from adult Spock or the Klingons, and that's a good thing. The previous season jumped around a lot, which led to some pacing issues, but this season from the start seems to be aware of its runtime and plot, proceeding at an even pace. Let's hope it maintains that. Spock's relationship with Burnham is addressed in flashbacks, and there is an apparent rivalry between the two, a somewhat childish but understandable and emotional reaction. Ramifications from the last season are felt throughout too, not just in the crew's apprehension of Pike or Saru's reluctance to turn over command, but Stamets too seems lost without Kolber. Without the spore tech, it falls to his friends, of which he doesn't have many to support him. His character literally seems to be drifting, marking the beginning points for his story arc over this season. Tilly has begun her command training, and although now has authority, is still Sylvia Tilly, overly talkative, nerdy and excitable. The dialogue gets a bit meta-narrative at times, with them alluding to the red shirt trope, the relevance of technobabble and maths in sci-fi, and so on. Though the bit where the writers use Pike to talk to the fans, saying, "Sometimes it's best to keep your expectations low, so you will never be disappointed," had me frowning. It's true that tempering your expectations is wise, but at the same time that's a dull way to live, and Star Trek is more than just a name to many people. Sometimes mistakes lead to poorer outcomes than what was promised. The visuals still look amazing, as does the sound, and I want to see more of the brighter tone they've adopted. Overall, the opening of Discovery Season 2 was much stronger than the first, more focused and able to step up multiple story arcs that I actually want to see play out. In essence, Discovery seems to be pulling away from the depressing themes of war and returning to something more upbeat and recognisable, though the darker elements are definitely still present, which may serve the story later on. We get the sense that there is a power out there that needs to be addressed, and honestly, we can't yet tell if it's malevolent or not, but the positivity among the crew is returning. So yes, Brother was a much more welcome opener to a Trek series, and I hope it maintains its momentum, though perhaps if All Access is your only option, you can afford to wait it out until all of the episodes are available. Thanks for watching. You'll have to excuse the infrequent use of screenshots and the use of game footage, as last time I did reviews for Discovery, several got blocked worldwide, one still to this day, and I can't be dealing with that right now. 3 videos a week is pushing it alongside working hours, so apologies in advance if I miss an episode or a review is delayed. I've been Rick, and thanks for watching. If you're a subscriber, then thanks for your support. It's for you all that I'm trying to dedicate more time to the channel, and if you stopped by because you simply enjoy Star Trek, I'm sure I have plenty here for you. Thanks again, and goodbye.